So good evening, everybody. It's 7:02 p.m. Just like to call the meeting to order here. Just see here, I just see on the top of the screen, we have June Williams, Jessica Goida, Courtney Hoyt Fox, Justine Brotherston, Dinah Mackinson, and Mike Fowler, Bruce Joy. It looks like we have everybody.
Oot.
Is there anybody missing? All right, so we'll just do our opening remarks here. This is just our electronic meeting protocol here. So just please note if this meeting here is going to be video and audio recorded, and all electronic meetings are uploaded to the municipality's YouTube page. By registering to participate in the meeting by electronic means, you are consenting to have your likeness and comments recorded and posted on YouTube. Further, please note that meeting attendees do not have video or audio capabilities. Okay. So has everybody seen the agenda?
Yes.
That was emailed. So I just want to just make sure everybody has seen it. They've gone through it.
Perfect. So I can read that resolution for you if you'd like. So we'll just have that the Recreation Committee approves the September 21st, 2021 agenda as circulated.
All in favor?
Oh, can we get a mover and seconder?
Oh,
I'll
okay.
move.
Who-
I'll move.
Dana, yeah, and seconder, June Williams. If everybody's all in favor, say aye or put your hand up.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. Next on the list here, it's a little bit of a lengthy meeting. Disclosure of pecuniary interest. Is there anything before we start?
Yes, there is.
Okay.
It is regarding item number 11.3, the facility promotion update, as well as 11.6, the proposed 2022 Recreation Committee budget. So it would be regarding the items about Quiz Lynch today. Since I am a co-founder and editor on Quiz Lynch today, and we are requesting a budget, I will recuse myself from those discussions and will not vote. June will be presenting for Quiz Lynch today instead.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Do we need approval or anything for that?
Nope, that's good.
Okay, thank you. All right, item number 6, the minutes from the last meeting. Is there any discussion before we move to approve the minutes of the last meeting? No?
No,
Okay.
straightforward.
I
Okay,
can read that resolution for you if you'd like.
sure.
So that's that the Recreation Committee meeting minutes from the May 18th, 2021 be approved as presented.
Okay, we'll make do we make a motion to approve these minutes?
I motion.
Bruce, seconder.
I'll second.
All right, thank you. And everybody's all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Item 7. Business arising out of the minutes. Is there any discussion?
Nope.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Straightforward.
All right. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward, lots of reading. All right, so do we make a motion then to
That's all good. We can just
Okay.
move on to consent
okay, thank you.
for sure.
All right, so you'll see item 8, consent agenda. There's 3 items on here. So item 8.1, Recreation Committee 2021 quarter, so the first quarter revenue and expense information. You'll see that there's a revenue and expense sheets in our package. Do you want to do each item as we go through it, or would you like me to just read those 3 items in the consent?
We can do each one individually, so we can start with the first one here.
Okay. Now I will just let you know that I have gone over the revenue and expense. Obviously, there's not a lot of revenue and, you know, luckily expenses are a little bit less for a lot of items. So if there's any discussion on that topic, please go ahead.
I was just curious as the wages for the PCC and the org. So are these for particular individuals, or are they like a group? So do you take maybe a customer service person and take part of her salary and assign it to this because they take care of rentals, or how does it work? How do you come up with those two figures? So
Mike, are you able to speak on this, or should this be brought back to Mary to answer?
I would comment that the majority of the wages would probably be allocated toward staff that are currently manning the ORC, facility operators, and part-time students on weekends.
right.
Currently, there's one staff member who is allocated for the PCC, but she's currently working in parks and the ORC during COVID. So I can't pinpoint if there's any administrative costs that are associated with this, but I would assume that at least 75% would be allocated to the actual boots on the ground.
All right, does that satisfy you, Jude?
Yeah, like it was the PCC that I was wondering, because I thought, well, that's a lot of money when we're not renting it and there's nobody there. So I was just wondering where that dollar figure came from.
Mhm.
Well, that answer's good.
Okay, now the only question I have when I was just going through it here, Schedule A, the report here, the first quarter, I guess the ice rental, or not ice rental, but the arena summer rentals, does the farmer's market, I guess they don't show up in that amount? Is it because they're on a contract?
Mike or Sarah, are you able to speak to that?
I could maybe take a guess is because we're just looking at the first quarter.
Mm,
Okay.
Correct, yes.
January, February, March.
That makes sense.
Which is in summer.
And
Yeah,
then-
so it was very underutilized. Well, we weren't renting it at all in January, February, March. There was simply the public skating. And then once weather turned, that facility would have closed down so that the ice could be removed and it prepared for the summer.
Okay, and then the rink board advertising, it seems like it's never changed. Are we in any agreements with these people, or do we take them down after a year? Do we auto renew them? I think they've been the same ones on there for years.
Yes, there's definitely, I believe, some discussion about kind of revamping the township's advertising policy, but at this time, they are as they are. I'm not quite sure how long they've been there, but I believe there is something underway on trying to generate some more revenue and possibly remove the dated advertising.
Okay. All right, that's all the discussion I have on it. Is there any more? Any of the other members?
Nope, not for me.
Okay,
Okay, then can we have that the consent agenda item 8.1 be received for information?
anybody like to make a motion to receive that for information?
A
Bruce,
motion,
I'll
yep.
second.
Dinah seconded, and all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right, report 8.2. This is a pretty cool one. Investing in Canada Infrastructure Program. So from what I've gathered, we've got some monies that the township has been able to obtain. And maybe is it better for Mike Fowler to explain it a bit more? Or about doing some upgrades to Morriston Ball Diamond and the PCC?
Yep, so the township received final approval and permission to advertise that the township has won both grants, one for a total of 1.9 million for the PCC grounds, and the other one indicated grant funding of around 230,000 that would be allocated to the old Morriston Ball Diamond. That would include a new light fixtures, all electrical hardware, and also bathroom upgrades, which currently have already been completed. So the tender will be going out for lights and the electrical components probably by the end of this year. In regards to the PCC funding, currently we're in just the back soccer field construction phase. Phase 1, as indicated through the Parks Master Plan, have indicated that the new soccer pitch will be getting their set of lights, bleachers, and from what I can recall, also parking lot upgrades around the blue shed. So that is basically what's written in stone right now. Other projects are tentative. I know it is the desire of council that another public engagement be involved for the public to be involved in ideas and what they would like to see the PCC grounds improved.
Wonderful.
Mike, I have a question for Mike. Are you
Hello, Bruce.
tendering the lights for the PCC and Morriston together or separately?
That is the hope, yes. So
Together,
we're,
okay.
by combining the two, we're hoping for competitive pricing from a single vendor that will basically already be in town. And I'm quite confident we can obtain competitive pricing. So yeah, that will be determined later in the year.
Do you have any idea on the time frame of the tender being sent out and being awarded, and then the project being done?
At this time, I can only estimate that the tender will be researched and completed by the end of this year.
Okay,
Awarding may happen or may occur over the winter time, with the possible construction begin date in early spring.
Okay.
Again, it will all depend on consultation with the public and council's direction on how fast to proceed.
okay.
Mike, while I have you on the line here, those monies that we're getting, are they going to go to playground upgrades as well at Morrison Meadows and the PCC?
Playground equipment has been identified. I will have to, again, research if it's identified in phase 1 or phase 2. But
Okay,
monies, once again, certain projects are go ahead, certain projects have been recommended. But it will not be the township stance without public consultation first in case any new projects arise.
okay.
So Mike, where do the tennis courts fall into all of this?
Currently, they're right between the PCC and Brock Road.
Thank you for that.
I can assure you, June, that the tennis courts have been identified for possible resurfacing. We have had some quotes completed. And again, if between council, management, and the public deem it as an important project, then it will absolutely be considered.
Okay.
Okay.
I have one more question, Vinny.
Yep.
In the report, it says that cash in lieu of parkland fundraising is about $400,000 and maybe $500,000. Does anyone have any idea of what was in that fund and how much is going to be left after that money has been spent?
I can make note of that, Bruce, and pass that on to Mary in Finance to answer that question and get back to you
Okay,
for a more
thank you.
accurate answer.
Okay.
Thank you. All right, is there any more discussion?
Oh,
All right,
Okay, then can we get a resolution that consent agenda item 8.2 be received for information?
okay, who would like to?
I'll receive it.
I'll enthusiastically second it.
All right, and all in favor?
Aye.
Right.
That was great news, by the way, Vinny.
Yeah, no, it was, we're really lucky, so that's gonna make things a lot easier, and, you know, it's gonna draw, you know, sports teams and, you know, people to our township, which is gonna be great, so. Okay, well, let's, look at report, 8.3 here. It's, FIN 2021-025-2022 proposed user fees and charges. Has anybody got any comments on it? I think some things are going up, some things are staying pretty good.
I just wanted to take this as an opportunity to highlight some information regarding the tennis club as it relates to the proposed user fees and charges for tennis courts. So on page 7 of the report, it just provides details on discussions that took place between staff and the tennis club. And it notes that the tennis club supports the new fee structure that is being proposed in lieu of the current fees that are paid. And it lays out how staff and the tennis club will approach the bookings for the tennis courts.
Nice.
Well, I'm very happy that the tennis club was able to come to an agreement.
Not yet.
Well, okay,
That's to come.
all right. Well, it's just a proposal, I guess.
Yeah, so there is going to be a public meeting held tomorrow on the user fees and charges bylaw where we'll be collecting feedback, and we're also currently still accepting feedback through the Engage Post Lunch website as well.
So this public meeting, is it in a Zoom format?
Yes, it will be held electronically over Zoom.
Okay. All right. Is there any more discussion on this matter?
yes, just one small thing. Under purpose, it says staff will publish notice in the Postage Pioneer, Wellington Advertiser, and Township website to advise of the public meeting. Just to remind you, we usually get them anyways, but Postage Today does post notices for free for the township. So just if that can be included.
I can advise staff of that.
Great.
All right, thank you. That's a good idea. All right, is there any more discussion on this matter? No?
Perfect. Then can we have the resolution that consent agenda item 8.3 be received for information?
I motion.
I'll second.
Diana, all in favor?
Aye.
I
All right. Number 9, correspondence. Is there any correspondence that we've had to bring to light?
No, there's no correspondence.
All right. We can move on to number 10, delegations. Do we have any delegations here to speak tonight?
There are no delegations tonight.
All right. Perfect. We're moving through it quick. Committee and staff reports. So item 11.1, baseball diamond complaints regarding pet use update. Justine, you're on.
Yeah, so I just wanted to provide an update on this from our meeting back in May. So in May, signs were purchased and then they were installed at the PPC Ball Diamonds and the Morriston Meadow Ball Diamonds in late July. Unfortunately, the signs at the Morriston Meadows were stolen. So they have not, there's no current plan to purchase additional signs. However, the signs at the PPC are still posted. Additionally, a notice announcing new parking signs and the signage related to dogs was posted on May 26, 2021 in advance of the installation on the township website, reminding dog owners of the potential fine for failure to pick up after their dogs.
Okay, well, somebody's got a sign hanging up in their garage somewhere.
Mhm.
I have a question. Was there any public complaints or emails regarding this, or we heard nothing?
Bruce, to answer that, I had, through a resident of Quizlet, yes, I had received a complaint about it, and I was, through that person, was told that there were at least 2 others that were complaining about it.
Okay, has
Yeah.
anything been received by the township?
I'm not aware of any complaints that have been received.
The
Okay,
services team has not received any complaints either.
okay.
Well, you know what? It's just common courtesy that you wouldn't let a dog run in the ball diamond. Like, you go to Guelph and we watch our grandsons play baseball, and they have those cute signs just like we have. They're everywhere. And people are not, in fact, the gates are locked because I think the coaches have a key to lock the gate before they leave, but they're not allowed to have any dogs in the baseball diamond anywhere.
Right.
And it should be just a common courtesy. So if I go over that ball diamond and I see somebody there now that those signs are up, I'm going to point it out to them because I don't think that's right.
Good for you, June.
Well, how would you like to play baseball?
I wouldn't.
Somebody. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well,
It's common courtesy.
it should be common courtesy at any public property to clean up after your animals, so. Obviously, Bruce probably encounters this problem as well, you know, so.
Yes,
Yeah, it's hard to police it, eh? Like, it's hard to be there, you know, all the time, but, you know, if any one of us or any township employee sees anything, you know, you gotta say something, so, you know, politely, obviously, so. All right. Well, thank you for the update. Is there any more comments on that before we move on?
No.
Okay, then can we get a resolution that the report ball diamond complaints regarding pet use update be received for information?
Would someone like to?
I'll do that.
You're gonna second it, and we'll all in favor?
aye.
Right.
Aye, yep.
Sorry, I just missed who moved that.
I
Bruce?
did. Oh,
Bruce did? Okay,
June.
perfect. Thank you.
All right, tennis club update, I believe. Diana, were you gonna?
Nope, that's
No,
not
that-
me.
that's
June.
me.
You were gonna
Tennis
log
club
in?
is June.
Yeah, that's me, Vinny. So
Okay,
I contacted Bill Sims and Marianne Kirk, 2 of the people from the executive of the tennis club. And I didn't go about this on behalf of the rec committee. I went on it as a concerned resident because I think it's sad that there's nobody out there playing tennis. And we've seen the odd person out there this summer, but there's no formal club. So anyway, they agreed to meet, and I took my husband along as a representative of the Optimist Club. They were the founders of the tennis club, or the tennis courts, I should say. So anyway, they shared with us some frustrations. A lot of their members have gone. They've gone to other clubs because of the condition of the courts, which I can totally understand. And they were also frustrated because they didn't understand the fee structure, the new one. And so I went over all that and I explained about the grant and told them to contact the people at the township, which I think they have done based on the information. And so we came up with a plan. And the plan was for them to send an email letter to all their former members, because they do have a database, and just to get any input from them and as to whether they would come back and be members in 2022, and also explain the need for a new executive, because they don't want any part of it anymore. They've been the executive for 15 years now, and the president has gone AWOL, not returning anybody's emails, and that's been part of the problem with the staff at the township, because the emails were going to the president and she wasn't returning anything to anybody, so not even her own committee members. So we also talked about doing a similar article and putting it in the Pioneer, Puss Lynch Today, and the Advertiser. We got the letter all critiqued, and then the last week I got an email from them to say that they don't want any part of doing anything more with the tennis club. So if I wanted to take it over, I could. I don't need another job. And so I was really surprised at that, because we had a really good letter all put together. So anyway, I have approached a couple that I know, and they've lived in the township for a long time. They're avid tennis players. They used to belong to our club out here. They've actually, I think they must be pretty good, because they took a year off a few years ago and did a tour in the US and playing tournaments for tennis. So, and they've been on executives before, and but the other thing is they're extremely nice and very, very personable people. So they're interested, but they have questions. So the big one is the tennis courts going to be redone? And if they are, when is that going to happen? And of course, they would need to be brought up to speed on how it works, what the tennis club is responsible for as far as maintenance go. And well, the fee structure, I can explain that to them. But the big thing was the tennis, was the condition of the tennis courts, because a number of their friends have left to go to other clubs. So I couldn't answer those questions. So I thought, well, I will bring it up tonight, but they are keen, and they ran a big club for volleyball in Cambridge years ago, built it up from just a couple of teams to something really special. So I think they would do a good job, but that's the only link that I have right now. But it's possible, as long as I get them the right information they want to hear. It's pretty difficult when you want to build up a club and the facilities aren't up to par. So that's my report.
Well, I appreciate you coming with that report. Yeah, I'm sad to hear that the old committee is disbanded, but you are right, we are due for some upgrades. But I mean, if you wanted my opinion, I don't think they'll happen overnight. You know, with I think Mike and could probably fill us in. You know, it's on the radar, but I don't think it happens, you know, next month or anything. I don't know how grants always sound good, but they come in slow, you know, with tendering and all that stuff. So yeah, maybe would somebody, Mike or someone, want to say a couple words? Or
I think Courtney is going to speak to this a little bit.
all right.
So sorry, Mike will have to speak to the grant funding and the timing of the upgrading of the courts. I more just wanted to give a little background about the discussions that were had with the tennis club that helped frame the user fees that are being proposed as part of the report. So we did have discussions with Mr. Bill Sims, who I believe sits on the board of directors for the tennis club, just about what would work for them. We kind of broke it down so it would be similar to how we charge some of our other user groups, such as soccer, in terms of the fee structure. And of course, it being in lieu of the current per member fees that they're paying right now. So we kind of looked at that, and it's about the same cost that they're paying now. So nothing would increase necessarily, but it would just give them a better idea of the timing that they needed the court. They indicated they used it approximately 10 hours per week. So given that 10 hours, there's lots of other opportunity for people to use it outside of the club. So they were fully in support of that, just, you know, with the spirit of getting people out playing tennis, you know, being their number one. So that's where the fee structure that's part of this proposed user fees came from those discussions. And also, you know, it's upsetting to hear that the board is having such a hard time. And Mr. Sims did indicate during our conversations that he would be canvassing the community just to see about the current interest in tennis. And that would help him decide and the board decide what their user fees would be for the following year in their need of the courts. So we fully understood that, and would be it would be part of how staff would work with them for 2022 and potentially onward in helping them schedule their need of the courts going forward. So I just wanted to give a little bit of background on the conversations that were had that led us to those user fees that are being presented. And also just acknowledging that it was communicated to Bill that the club would likely qualify for the reduced rate. So they'd be looking at around, I think it's around $5 per hour or so. So we just wanted to make sure that it was still very reasonable for this group to be able to offer the programs and, you know, be able to have those membership fees stay the same for their users. So it wouldn't be an increase for those people wanting to come to the tennis club. So that's just a little bit of a background on the discussions with the tennis club and how we landed where we did with those fees.
Okay. Is there any more discussion on this item?
Yeah, I have a couple of, I guess, a question and a comment. June, you mentioned that it sounded like the board was going to not be in existence.
Right.
And then Courtney saying they're talking to the board members.
No,
So-
well, they did talk to the board members after we had our meeting.
Okay,
So after my husband and I met with them, and they didn't understand the structure. And so I said, okay, so no, you're not going to pay that kind of money. You apply for the grant and it's a reduced rate. And I think the deadline was coming up to apply for that. So I said, you know, you need to contact them, talk to them. You know, they're very reasonable to deal with, and they will fully explain it to you, and you can get it. And so then he sent me an email after and said that he'd taken care of it and they'd booked it for next year. And everything was tickety-boo. Then he had to go out west. And I don't know if something happened out there because he was, he delayed coming home. He was longer than what he had said. And so did the letter, sent it to us, and that was the agreement. We critiqued and everything, went back, thought it was all set to go. And then last week, it was Marianne that sent the email and just said that they had both decided that, you know, they were going to step back completely from it. And maybe they thought that, you know, if they got involved sending out the letters, then they would be involved even more. But I think they've had enough. They're elderly, and they've been on it for 15 years and they just done. So right now, there's no tennis club, and there won't be next year either if they don't come up with somebody to run it.
okay, so my understanding in running a nonprofit club, if the board of directors dissolves, they told the township they had $50,000 in the bank account.
Mhm.
There's financial implications, because if the soccer club ever folds, the money that is in our bank account goes to the township.
Right. And I am sure this will eventually, I'm hoping that we can make this work, that we can get a tennis club going. I mean, Rockwood has a great one, and it's, you know, open to the public for part of the time is free, and then they have this club. And
Right.
this couple that I spoke with are very enthusiastic, and they know how all this runs.
Okay.
And but you know, they're good players. So that was the first thing they asked, was
Okay.
when the courts are going to be done and how they're going to be you know, renovated.
Do you know when, June, when their AGM is and when the last time they had an AGM?
I can't remember her name now. But they haven't corresponded with her for quite some time. Like, they kept sending her emails, and that's why Marianne and Bill didn't reply to the township, even though they were copied in, because they thought that it was the president's job. They were waiting for her to do this. But, and they haven't spoken with her. It's just like, I don't know if it's COVID or what, but she's just turned off the world.
Well, I would think, I don't know, I can't speak on behalf of the township, but I would think the township might have their constitution of the tennis club, but I doubt they have one.
Yeah, I don't know.
So I just don't know the financial implications to the township. So, big question mark.
I don't think,
If you want to run the tennis club, Bruce, you do a really good job with soccer.
No, thank you.
yeah. Oh,
That's tough, eh? It's hard to find volunteers, let alone
It is.
employees these days. you
It
know,
is.
like,
Mm.
everybody puts a dollar sign on everything these days, so
Yeah,
it makes it really hard.
yeah, Vinny, my only concern is if they have $50,000, where's that money going? Or who's got
Oh.
control of it?
yeah, I don't think there's a problem here. I mean, Bill is the treasurer,
Yeah.
and I believe he's a CA. You're not going to have any trouble with him running off with the money. The both of them are really hoping that the club will survive.
Right,
It's just they don't want to run it anymore.
right. Oh, I guess they got work to do.
Well, I
It's-
think
for-
it would be nice to find out, you know, a rough timeline fairly soon about the upgrades of the tennis court. You know, because if we've got a couple that are ready to run it, you know, and they don't want to run it if the place is falling apart, and I understand that. But I think if they had an idea of, you know, if is it going to be next year, is it going to be 2 years? You know, I think if you had a bit of a firm commitment that we're going to get it upgraded and it's going to happen fairly soon, I think we're going to not lose the club. But I think if we drag it on and, you know, 3 years down the road, we maybe get it done, well, I think we're just going to lose everybody. So, I mean, it's obviously time is of the essence here, and you know, it's an upgrade that's been needing to get done for a long time. And maybe it's something that, you know, I don't know how things get done quicker, but you know, yeah, there's obviously some you know, stuff on the table we got to look at. So, I mean, I'm not in the business of building tennis courts, but I would imagine, you know, the township will have to get some tenders on it. And then if we do get the go-ahead, does the former club want to help commit any money out of that money they have towards the upgrades? You know? A lot of questions.
Yeah, Vinny, sorry, I feel like we're putting the cart before the horse here. It doesn't look like we're going to get a tennis club, or that the tennis club, this is what I'm hearing. I'm hearing that the tennis club is really not going to be in existence, whether it's in its current form with its current members, or in a future form with new leaders. unless the tennis courts are built. So I feel like, sorry, renovated, upgraded. I just feel like we're talking about something that isn't going to, I mean, we can talk in circles about the tennis club, but there isn't going to be a tennis club unless we have tennis courts. So I think build it and they will come. And I think this is a conversation to be had when we know when the tennis courts are going to be refurbished. And then when we have those dates, then we can talk about a tennis club and who's going to lead it and who's willing to do it and how what's that going to look like for the township. It just seems like we're talking about something before it's even going to happen. Like, we don't really have tennis courts to offer anybody in their current condition. So that's just my 5 cents.
Thank you. No, that's very valid. I don't know how we could get this issue brought up quicker, to get a bit of a push on getting these things looked after.
Yeah, I have a quick question. So I feel like I should know this, but I've gotten kind of lost in terms of what components of the PCC, the tennis courts included, form part of this big master parks plan. And so I'm confused now as to, we're talking about when the tennis courts are going to be upgraded, but do we even know if they're going to be upgraded? And perhaps this is a question for Mike, have we, and maybe it's just escaped from my memory, has that discussion taken place through council? Is that something that's in our asset management plan that's due for upgrade? Or do we just have to start right from scratch here? And perhaps we have budget meetings coming up over the next couple of months. Is this something that needs to form part of those discussions for 2022 or onward as to what it's going to take to upgrade those tennis courts and when realistically we can do it? I feel like that's all been lost in all this discussion.
If I may, Jessica, so I wasn't part of the initial Parks Master Plan when it was created.
Yeah.
Going through the records that was identified through the Parks Master Plan, there was no mention of the tennis courts. There was mention of an additional soccer field, play structures, upgrading of the horse paddock and pole track, items like that. So speaking on the township at the time, it's quite apparent that nobody, whether it be the tennis club or other, users of the tennis courts, gave any indication that, the courts were in such bad shape that should have been identified in the Parks Master Plan. This has really only come to light in the past couple of years.
Right.
I think absolutely there's a possibility of, leapfrogging some projects ahead of others if the demand is there. I think whether it be my job or council's also to recognize that, this is a considerable amount of money we're talking about to refurbish the tennis courts. So I think whether it be the township or the tennis club or the new tennis club, there also has to be a commitment made that if the township does proceed with refurbishing the courts, that there will be a club to use it. Because, this type of grant money does not come along very often. So the township needs to be responsible and it needs to be productive in how we spend this money. So the last thing I want to do is, of course, I would love to, immediately upgrade the tennis courts, but if we don't have a club that's going to utilize it and we're just going to rely on, 2 members of the general public to use it once in a while, I don't feel that's money well spent when it could have gone to another project on the grounds. So I think we both have to make firm commitments. If this club does organize, then we proceed in looking at accelerating the construction. But again, I'm very reluctant to start prioritizing projects like this without solid confirmation from a club or a user group that's going to consistently utilize this asset.
And as far as you're aware, Mike, as of right now, there's no specific direction or plan for the tennis courts to be upgraded necessarily in the next year or 2 years.
Yes, I can affirm that tennis courts have been discussed. Costing has been done. I have a figure that what it's going to take to rehabilitate basically the playing surface and new netting and brackets to hold the net. So that's basic. It's going to be presented around budget time,
Okay.
but also too, there's a lot of other projects and a lot of other wishes from other user groups that have to also be considered. And some of the other user groups that are asking for certain projects do have organized leagues or clubs that will utilize it. So by no means am I completely disregarding this, but the priority has to be there for us to efficiently use this grant money.
Okay.
Okay.
Jessica, I might add in, I'm taking a look at the master plan on page 71. It does make a recommendation for the tennis courts. And it's basically, all it is a noise and wind barrier. It doesn't mention resurfacing the courts.
That's correct. So that, again, I didn't use that as an example because that doesn't solve any of our current issues.
Yeah, that's true.
I just have a feeling that we had a good vibrant club. And I think as the facilities have deteriorated, we've lost more and more members. So it's almost kind of like it's, you know, the club's falling apart because the facilities have fell apart. You know, and then near the end, they were trying to figure out, well, you know, whose responsibility is it to upgrade it? Because we've got 50,000, but it's going to cost more than that. So I think they just got tired of banging heads. And I don't know, you know, like we have talked about it for the last 2 years that it needs to get upgraded. It's one of those things where like, I don't know how fast it takes to spend $2 million, but I think it's probably already been earmarked. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's almost one of those things where it's like, you know, we've kind of, it's going to be hard to get a commitment when the courts are in really bad shape. You know, like it's tough. So I don't know.
A realistic time frame, Vinny, would be late 2023 for any actual construction or rehabilitation to begin.
Okay.
By the time we factor in actual engineering and costing, tendering, and then again, if council so wishes to pursue another public information meeting to gather ideas, realistically, that's the time frame we should be set on, which what should give the proposed new tennis club maybe time to organize or come with a total of members and things like that.
All right. Well, I think June, I think you may want to reach out to the couple that, you know, would want to run the club and just maybe give them that rough timeline, you know, which won't sound good for them. But if they're maybe around in 2023 or 2024, maybe they might want to consider.
Okay.
But, you know, I think everybody knows how quickly things move with, you know, it doesn't matter if it's the city of Guelph or township of Puslich or, you know, everything takes a lot of planning and a lot of, you know, people like the money to be spent, you know, wisely. So, you know, like Mike's defense, it does take time, you know, and Bruce knows what it's like waiting for those soccer fields. You know,
Yeah, I've been waiting for 10 years, so you have to be patient and you have to work with the township and you just proceed.
Well,
Yeah.
you have a really good group of people there, Bruce. So
Yes, I do.
there are other facilities in the township that maybe aren't as well used.
True.
Mhm. Anyway,
All right. Is there any more discussion on this topic?
no, I'm good, thanks.
All right.
Okay, can we get a resolution that the report tennis club update be received for information?
Who would like to move the resolution?
I will.
All right, and seconder? Bruce, all in
Yeah.
favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, 11.3, facility promotion update. I think June Williams is going to present that. Diana,
Well,
you were gonna,
Yeah,
and June will carry on.
Okay.
Yeah, we do, there's more than just what we discussed at the beginning. There's
okay,
4 parts of this, so
Sure.
I'm gonna lead in and then June's gonna take over the other initiatives.
okay,
First of all, I just want to thank my colleagues on this committee, June and Justine. Honestly, it's been a wonderful collaborative effort and I look forward to doing more with you. So thank you very much. I really have been appreciated and I'm grateful to be on this committee with you. We've really come up with a lot of what I think are great ideas collaboratively. So the facility promotion. First of all, I'm just going to very quickly, this isn't going to take long, honestly. I expect this to be more in terms of discussion, but I just want to give you the high points of the purpose of marketing, of our marketing promotion. It's going to be, we're suggesting that it's primarily digital. Now, why is this? Because we can get analytics that from digital that can help us target our ideal customer, client, user. Those analytics can be helpful going forward and know if people are actually engaging with the advertising and the marketing. Reach, we know what the reach is. Digital reach is further than hard copy reach. That's just a fact because anybody can access it. And through the analytics, like I said, you can target your ideal market. You get more information about who your market is and how to reach them. 2, develop exposure beyond Puslinch. We agreed as a group that, as a committee, that Puslinch, it's like preaching to the choir. People in Puslinch know about our facilities, and at least most of them do. I don't profess that everyone does, but that it was important to be able to reach beyond our borders. So that would be another reason why we want to go digital. And why we want to market, period, in other places, other locations. 3, invite and nurture businesses and organizations that will book repeatedly. And what do we mean by that? We mean organizations like as team leagues, whether it's baseball or ball hockey or somebody who's running Pilates classes or exercise classes. Business presentations, a lot of businesses have gone, they're letting go of their bricks and mortar and people are going to are working remotely now. So what do you do when you have a business presentation to make to clientele, or you want to get your people together for a conference, an in-person conference, but you no longer have bricks and mortar? We want to be able to reach these people. These are people who are going to book it on a repeated basis and not necessarily at the peak times. Which brings me to promoting usage of our facilities during times of less usage. Specific months are not being used. We can see a trend where we don't really need to promote our facilities, but there are times when our facilities are not being used. So through marketing, digital and print, which is what June is going to talk about, we can target getting people to use the facilities during those specific months, days, and times that they are traditionally not being used. So that being said, I am going to talk to you firstly about Guelph Today. I spoke to the good people at Guelph Today. Just some high level, just a couple of points about Guelph Today. They have over 3 million page views a month. That is extraordinary. They have over 36,000 followers on their social media. That we can have access to. What we are proposing, we looked at all the options that they had, and I spoke to one of the representatives there in marketing. They have something called a community hub, which the City of Guelph and the City of Cambridge are currently using. What the community hub gives us is it gives us a premium profile with analytics, so we can understand more about engagement and who is engaging with us. So that profile is on the website all the time, and people can access it, and they will point leads to us through keywords. So we can use that profile for anything for the township. It doesn't need to be just for our facilities. With that, we would get a spotlight article, which would be featured on their homepage and would live on their website all the time. So not only do we get that feature that day and get a lot of traffic then for people to understand the message that we want to get out about our facilities and how wonderful they are, and get the exposure. It lives on their website all the time. So if you Google Quizlinch, it may very well come up, most likely. We also get free classified ads. So if we want to rent our facilities, we want to put a classified ad for that. Hiring, if the township is hiring people, if we need people for our facilities, you can use it for that. It doesn't have to be, we don't need to just use this for marketing our facilities. If the township needs to use it because they want to hire people, and it's an option to use that. We also would get for free a branding ad that would live on their website. It's on the side of their website, and it rotates with other brand ads. Whether you're a small township, a big corporation, there's no differentiation between a brand ad between a big corporation or the township of Quizlinch. You have equal time. And what they guarantee 10,000 views a month of that branding ad. Although Josh did say to me, that's what they guarantee, but he says it's more like 30,000, and that, basically they follow up on that with us and let us know how many views, and this is a month. So this is all free. This is not all free, sorry. This is all included with the Community Hub package, which we will talk about. Well, the Community Hub package is $2,400 plus HST for a year. All graphics on the website, all design on their website, and all ad designs, which I'm going to talk to you about the ads shortly, is included. So in this cost, it's a huge exposure to the Guelph market, who we can say, have a beautiful wedding in the country. Have you ever thought about that? Maybe people haven't, and this is one extremely effective way to reach them. With that, we're also suggesting that we have 5 ads to run at crucial periods. The ads are $300 each. Again, they're designed by their team in collaboration with us, with the township or the committee, whoever we decide is going to be included on that, to run at crucial periods. And Guelph Today would work with us to best. It doesn't have to be 5 ads at $300 each. If it's $1,500, Guelph Today will work with us and come up with a strategy of when is the best use of those dollars, and they'll help us create the campaigns for no extra cost to reach their market. And when I say crucial periods, I'm going to say, like Valentine's Day, the day after Valentine's Day. People often get engaged on Valentine's Day, so maybe that's a day to specifically target people who are getting engaged, to have their stag and does, to have their bridal showers. It's not just about having your wedding there. There's so many other things around the wedding. There's rehearsal parties. There's all sorts of things that we can market. So that is what Guelph Today can offer us. Justine, should I move on to social media, or should we go ahead with questions on this now?
We can leave questions till the end.
Okay, so we'll leave questions for the end. All right. So Secondly, we have proposed that we use social media ads when we launch our social media platform. The total budget is $150. Again, it's 5 ads to, I think that we came up with 5 ads to run 14 days at those crucial periods again. And wouldn't it be wonderful to have that maybe coincide with whatever, we collaborate with? If we do use the Community Hub with Guelph today, we'll have a lot of insight from them as to we'll get a lot of knowledge and education from them about how to and when we should be doing this. And we can just take that knowledge and run with it on social media. So that would be $30 for each 14-day ad. And that is the end of my presentation. I will hand it over to June now.
Okay. So I just want to talk to you about Puss Lynch today. And so online there again, Puss Lynch today has an average of 16,000 views per month. So that's hits from about 16,000. With women representing 60% of the readership, which we feel is probably a high percentage of people that would actually do the bookings. So parties, weddings, business ventures, that type of thing. And 66% of all the visitors to the pages are on the average of 25 to 50 years of age, which I thought was kind of interesting. I go on your website.
That's 60%. That's only 60.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It has extensive reach in Puss Lynch and the surrounding area, with the majority of viewers coming from Puss Lynch, Guelph, and Cambridge. They have ads that either look like a banner or a large rectangle, and each ad is $30 plus HST per month. So an ad can be linked to a desired page on the township website as well. Unlimited articles are free to submit for posting. So if we wanted to, I thought it would be kind of neat if we did some articles on our different facilities in the township. I was talking to Dana about this, and so we could do an article on the PCC. We could do a little article on the history of the Badna Community Center. I don't think people even in this township know that that little gem exists, but that's great for a meeting, a party, whatever. And also Ellis Chapel. So we've got like one-stop shopping, quaint little church in the country, and the PCC. So, but we can have unlimited articles like that, but for free. So that's a good bang for our buck is Puss Lynch today, because of the readership that it reaches out to. So the other thing that we looked at is a wedding planner. And it sounds like we're talking about a lot of weddings, but that's mainly to book the PCC. But when people are seeing and reading these ads, other ideas for the usage would come up, and they would come out to see the community center, but also see the grounds that we have, the rink and the gym and that type of thing. So this wedding planner is a six-page insert in the, I think it was the Tribune. And so when I saw it, Welfare Massa had put a really nice ad in there, and they had listed all their facilities that you could rent. And I thought, well, geez, what a great idea, because it's not just one place that people can go and look at. It's a series of them. And but that comes out, I think, twice a year. And we have put in a budget for that. The Wellington Advertiser had a really nice one, and it was in full color, but they're not running that in the near future. They're taking a couple of years off. So we thought the wedding planner as an insert in the Tribune would be something good to do. And that's it, short and sweet.
All right. Well, thank you for the presentation. I'll just say my couple of little things here. So I actually used Wealth today for our business, and you're right, good exposure. You know, everything's really good with it, and I think Pusslinch is you know, up and coming and equally as good as Wealth today. I follow both of them, so. I mean, obviously, there's an expense to everything. I think if we're gonna be opening soon and wanting to promote, you know, do we get the go ahead and do this ask? So it's $2,400, and what is the Pusslinch Today subscription? $30 a month?
We'll be reviewing the budget asks as part of the budget report.
Okay. Have we submitted those to be seen or heard at the budget report?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're included on the report tonight.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions?
I think they've fallen asleep.
Well, I was gonna say, if I don't know what everybody else is like, but we almost should take a half a minute to stand up and stretch and.
Great.
I did
Can
just want to
we-
say, there's obviously a lot of work that has gone into this. And thank you for that, because I think it is important, and especially coming out of a year and a half of having virtually no bookings for anything, it's going to be important to get our facilities out there and advertising as events hopefully start to pick up again soon. And I know that there's been a lot of legwork done to come up with this information. So I just wanted to say thank you for doing all that hard work.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Jessica.
Yes, thank you. All right, if there's no more discussion,
I have a recommendation to accompany this report.
okay,
So for the resolution, it's that the report facility promotion update be received for information, and that pending final approval by council for the 2022 budget, that the Recreation Committee delegate authority to the Facility Promotion Subcommittee to work with staff to implement the facility advertisements.
okay, is everybody want to make a motion to accept that?
Sounds like a great one, so I'll motion.
I will second it. Is everybody in favor?
Aye.
Yes.
Say aye.
All right.
I don't think, Justine, can I say aye? Yes, no?
I
Justine?
technically can't advise on that.
You can't advise. Well, I'll just
So
say aye.
because you deemed it pecuniary interest, I don't think you said in the beginning you wouldn't be able to vote, so.
Not on the PT part. So I'm going to abstain. That's what I'll do.
Okay, thank you. All right, and so everybody's in favor, then we'll move on. Okay, so the next item on here is 11.4, Engaged Pusslinch Projects Update. Councillor Goyda and Dinah again.
Councillor Gordon, do you want me to start with the survey? Okay, great.
You're on a roll. You're doing a great job.
I just want to get it over with. Okay, here we go. All right, so again, I want to thank my committee, Councillor Goyda and Justine Brotherston. I really have enjoyed working with all of you, and it's really been wonderful. What great brainstorming, and we're very proud. I'm very grateful to be a part of the committee, and I'm very proud of what we have come up with to present to you today. So we have a platform, Bang the Table, which we use to promote our Engage Puzzlinch on the township website. So we thought it would be great to use that platform through Engage Puzzlinch to receive feedback on our facilities by a survey. This survey would be 6 to 8 weeks long for the 6 to 8 week long engagement opportunity for the survey. It would be a limited time only. We would want to launch it with our social media for optimal response. It doesn't mean we set it up and don't get it up there. But as far as the launch, the 6 to 8 week launch for like where we're powering through to get it, it would make most sense for us to have our social media engagement. The survey should be short, quick, easy, and be specific regarding questions we want to know from the public about our facilities. So we're suggesting that if you'd like to go forward with this platform to engage Puslinch and do a survey to find out more, that the committee or our committee would come up with specific questions that we could present at a future meeting and discuss which questions we would want to put on the survey. But we figured we would collaborate on that later, waiting for permission to go forward. What are the benefits of doing this? The benefits are we would use the feedback to ensure facilities are meeting our community and user needs. We might be doing a whole bunch of stuff that we don't need to do. We might also find out that we haven't been doing something that we need to do. So we need to find some balance, and we can do that we really need to zero in and know exactly that feedback will help us. You do that. We can use this survey to find out our demographics of users and potential users to improve our digital marketing targeting. So if we're getting feedback from people, we are going to find out, we are going to ask some questions about who those people are. But just any survey I do, they always ask you what age group you're in. They ask if you're male or female, and they also ask what salary range, what your annual income is. And we don't necessarily need to do that, but I am saying we can get information about who it is, and we can use that for our marketing going forward. That would be very helpful. And there's the potential to use the feedback to make necessary improvements for maximum marketability. So if we're finding out that there's something we're missing, I mean, we've done surveys before, but we haven't had the option of doing it like this digitally. So we can gain more information to find out if there's something we're missing, what should we be marketing? If the feedback is, yeah, you're doing this great. Well, you know what? Let's let everybody know about that. So that is my presentation on why we should engage Puslinch through Bang the Table platform to do a 6 to 8 week long survey for our facilities. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, and then I'm going to just talk about another possible project through this Engage Puslinch platform. And I have much less formal presentation, but
Formal.
The thought process behind this idea is that the Engage Puslinch platform is a fairly new website that not necessarily everyone is aware exists, but it is an important tool that we can use to get feedback on various things in the township in the future if people start using it. So my thought was, how do we get people to start engaging on this platform? And I just know from myself, with having kids, anything that makes something fun for kids draws me in as something to check out. So my thought was that as part of this plan at the Puslinch Community Center, one of the items that is being considered is the upgrade of the playground. And there's also a playground at Borum Park, which is near where I live, that is due for an upgrade sometime in the next couple of years. And so I thought what it would be a good idea is to put something on the Engage Puslinch platform that it could be called something like Young Playground Planners. And the idea would be that for a certain period of time, children throughout the township could submit either a drawing or a collage or even photographs of playgrounds that they've seen that they really love. and include with it what it is about those playgrounds that they like and what they'd love to see in the playgrounds here in our township. They're the ones using those playgrounds, so they're the ones that would be the best to consult on what we should be including in those playgrounds. So that was the idea. No formal plan in place as to how that's going to look or even when that would launch, but mostly just wanted to get the committee's feedback on whether that was, I guess, a project worth pursuing, or if, you know, if we should just stick to the survey that Dinah has been speaking of.
Okay, well, thank you. Is there any comments from anybody on these two items?
Well, Jessica, I like your idea of getting the kids' feedback, because that's how that basketball court came about in Bourne Drive, just by some of the children that live in Bourne or in Arkle. So I think that's an awesome idea to get their input.
Yeah, I think that's great too. I think you'll find a lot of kids want to have some way of having tablets and cell phones there too.
Oh my God. Yeah, cell phone no zone.
Yeah.
Leave it at home. Go play.
Yeah, that would be fun. So, no, I think that's two really good projects there. And I honestly think both of them are great. And I think they're both needed. The playground one would be fun to do in the spring, you know, when kids are itching to get outside and they want to get out playing, and, you know, you always get a lot of ideas flowing around then. So, but the facility one, you know, that one you could do it almost any time, you know, everything's open. So,
Right.
yeah, so I think, should we bring a motion that we should look into this a bit more?
Yeah, I have a recommendation.
Okay,
So that the report Engage Post Lunch projects be received for information, and that the Engage Post Lunch subcommittee bring back project proposals for approval at the November 16th, 2021 Recreation Committee meeting.
okay. Would anybody like to second this motion?
I'll second.
Oh, can we get a mover?
Oh, move.
Move it, sorry.
Okay.
I'll move.
Okay, and I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 All right, item 11.5, committee quarterly reviews of goals and objectives for 2021, 2022. I'm assuming everybody here is staying on the committee?
Yes.
Do we have a choice?
No,
We're on for 4 years, I thought.
life sentence.
I'm already kidding.
Okay, perfect. So this is just a report to review the goals and objectives that were set and just a status update. So you've had an opportunity to review the report ahead of the meeting. So this report will be, or my recommendation is that this report be forwarded to council for information. As always, this is always an opportunity to add any additional projects that the committee has identified. But otherwise, let me know if there's any questions.
Okay, is there any questions on this report?
Oh, it's very good.
Mhm.
All the timelines.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't have any complaints. I think the Justine might be able to comment. We've got, I guess you guys are working on some way of recognizing donors via the, you know, a thank you of some sort for people who have contributed to, you know, say the water fountain or the, you know, donations towards rec facilities and stuff.
Yeah, so Vinny had asked a question about this, and I just let him know that the township is currently working on a donation policy. So that will be brought forward to council for consideration at a later date. Currently, council is not seeking any committee comments on the policy, but that is a policy that's being developed by the township.
Okay. All right, well, I think we're ready to move forward.
Perfect. So the recommendation is that staff report REC 2021-004 regarding the Recreation Committee Goals and Objectives 2021 to 2022 be received for information, and that staff report REC 2021-004 be forwarded to council for information.
I'll
Okay,
move.
Diana will move, seconder. Jessica? Oh, all in favor? Aye.
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 All right. Item 11.6, proposed 2022 Recreation Committee budget. We're gonna keep you busy.
Perfect. I'm just gonna share my screen for this one. So this report is going to be broken into two parts. Originally, it was just one recommendation, but we're going to deal with items 1 through 5 first, and then we will deal with item 6 separately, just so that we can enable Diana to be part of the conversation for item 1 through 5. So I will just note that I have amended the table here from the original report, just to identify if items will be a continued budget ask versus a one-time one-time ask. At this point, I've identified that they would all be continued, but I am open to the committee changing that. But if there's any changes or additions, we can speak about that now. And that's just for, we'll just discuss items 1 through 5 first.
Okay, so if it was me, I feel that social media advertising at $150 a year, it almost seems way too low. I mean, I just know that I spend $150 if I do one set of ads with Facebook. I spend, for example, I spend $300 a month on Google AdWords. So $150 for a year almost seems too low.
So the rationale for the social media budget asks are, so the typical cost per 1,000 users is approximately $5 to $7. And just given that we are advertising to a fairly small geographic area, our money will go further. So that's kind of the rationale there. I know with other businesses, you're not working with such a tight geographic area, so the ad spends are usually bigger, but we're very fortunate that we have a more targeted audience for the most part.
Okay.
But that can certainly be adjusted if the committee is interested in that being adjusted.
Is Diana, you and June, you guys are kind of in tune with social media advertising. Is that something we should maybe look at increasing for 2022?
Yeah, Vinny, sorry. Yeah, I mean, if the committee feels that that's not enough, I think that we thought that, once we launch our it takes time to build social media. Once it gets traction, it can go a lot quicker. But our thought was running those 5 ads at $30, and then we could kind of gauge at that point what kind of response we're getting, and if it's worth it maybe for 2023, then we'll have something to go on. It's more like a test than anything.
Okay.
Yeah, we just didn't want to go too high because we've never had budgets like this before, right? To submit for things that we want to do. And so if we go too high, then we might not get anything. So we've kept it pretty modest.
Well, I definitely, I think the public would appreciate their money being spent like we are doing it, I think that's fine then. Okay, any other comments on items 1 to 5?
I have a comment, which is maybe more a general comment. This budget will be submitted to council for approval. But I'm wondering if both Dinah and June provided some good facts in terms of what the readership is, what the hits
Right.
are, what the benefits are, like all those things. I think that is going to be really important. And if I feel like if there's questions about these numbers, it will be turned to me to answer, and I'm not going to have those facts quickly, readily handy. So it would be good if this gets approved tonight, that these numbers correspond with some kind of a detailed report as to what the number represents, how many ads it provides, information on the hub you were speaking of, all of those things, so that because just someone looking at it without any background information, looking at, for instance, the Guelph Today cost at $4,400 is going to say that's crazy. We're not paying that. But if they can see the breakdown of what that potential reach is and what we get for that money, then it's an easier sell.
Yeah, for sure. So since these are all new items under the rec committee budget, budget justification reports will be created for them. I believe that's the correct term.
And the other thing that hasn't been added in there is, we didn't know how to handle this, is if we put an ad in, it has to be created. And sometimes, you know, you need a marketing type company to design an ad. So
June, sorry, I can answer that question. For Guelph Today, they create the ads for us. It's all included in that.
all in that cost.
All included.
Okay.
As far as social media goes, I can't address that because it would have to be somebody from, I mean, if we have somebody running social media, hopefully they have the wherewithal to create
An ad.
you know, a JPEG ad that they can, you know, or use Adobe or whatever. Somebody has if we have a social media person, we should have somebody who has a wherewithal to create that. The Tribune, I'm assuming, I can't make assumptions on the Tribune. June, maybe you might, if they
See,
probably.
that kind of thing is usually camera ready artwork when it's going into those inserts and magazines and that. And
yeah, so
staff will be able to help with the implementation of the advertising. We do have software available to us to help with ad creation. So
so like I said, for Guelph Today, and can I say ditto for item number 6, or am I not allowed to say that? Guelph Today will do ads included in the price.
yeah, I think we said that.
Can I can't say anything about item number 6 except for.
Yeah, so it's included in that cost.
Thank you, June.
Yeah, and that's a, you know, a good deal. I mean, I think we should, it's up to everybody else on the committee, but I think what we have presented in front of us looks really good. And I really hope that we could have a super good year for 2022. So, yeah, if anybody has any more questions, then we'll maybe move what we have on our screen.
Just further to Councillor Goida, I have everything all written down by hand, all my notes from today, all the information I gave you. So I'm happy to, I mean, Justine, should I be submitting that like tomorrow? Or is there a process for us to submit that information so that council will have a clear view of exactly what they're getting?
Yeah, I can connect with you tomorrow on that.
Okay, great. Okay, thank you.
Question.
Okay,
I have a question, Vinny.
yeah, go ahead, Bruce.
I'm assuming that this advertising is all dependent on the facilities opening up. Would that be a fair statement?
That would be a fair statement in my opinion.
Okay.
It's hard
So,
to spend money on something that we don't have to offer.
right. So I guess the question is do we have any estimation on when the facilities are going to open?
Well, I think that's coming down,
Yeah.
11.8 and 11.9, I believe, around that time. So hopefully, Mike will provide us with an update when we get to that.
And I'll just interject, we don't have a total there. I just want everyone to know this is all under $6,000, including the committee training.
That's the deal.
No.
So you're getting a whole bunch of stuff for $6,000. So.
Okay. Go ahead. So if there's any more discussion on this, would we like to make a motion to,
So I have this
Accept.
broken out into two. So I can read the recommendation for items 1 through 5.
okay,
So that staff report REC 2021-005 regarding the proposed 2022 recreation budget be received for information. And the items 1 through 5 of the recreation committee budget be approved as amended. And further, that the approved budget items 1 through 5 be forwarded to council for consideration for the 2022 budget.
okay. Would anybody like to make a motion to approve?
I will.
June, seconder?
I'll second. Can I?
Diana, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Perfect. And then was there any discussion on item 6?
I think it's good.
Okay, then the recommendation is that item 6 of the 2022 Recreation Committee budget be approved as amended, and further that the approved that item 6 be forwarded to council for consideration for the 2022 budget.
Okay, we'll just make a motion to accept that. Anybody like to make a motion to accept as read?
No
Bruce,
motion, yep.
seconded Jessica. All in favor? Aye.
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 Okay,
Dinah is
carried.
abstaining. Just please note Dinah is abstaining.
Thank you. Okay, we're just gonna move on to item 11.7. Proposed 2022 Recreation Committee meeting schedule. Hopefully it's gonna be in person soon, but Justine, could you comment?
We don't have a timeline currently for meetings to resume in person. So I've provided, based on the terms of reference, the dates for the proposed meetings in 2022. So currently it would be February 15th, May 17th, August 16th, and November 15th. I have noticed that sometimes our August meeting gets moved to September. So if that is of interest to the committee, I would just ask that we review that this evening.
I think, I don't know, did anybody have a problem with moving it from August to September?
I think moving it to August to September is great because it's after the fall fair and it's after a lot of our large events that we hold on the grounds. So, you know, a lot of the soccer's wrapped up, you know, a lot of the sports teams have wrapped up their seasons. So I think moving it to September is probably going to be more appropriate.
I agree.
Unless something comes up that we need to have a meeting in August, you know, say something emergency comes up, but if it's okay with the committee, I think we should see about moving it to around this time in September.
Sounds
I'm on
good.
board with that.
I am.
Okay,
Okay, then the new meeting date would be September 20th, 2022. And I just would recommend, maybe I'll bring this back to November. The committee may want to consider amending the terms of reference if this is going to be a regular change. And that would be for consideration by council.
okay.
So, is there any further questions?
So if we make a recommendation for council to consider doing this as a permanent change, do we want to do that tonight?
Yeah, we can do that.
Since they're gonna be getting all their stuff now.
Sure. Let me just
That's a
update the
question.
resolution.
Does it, if we're just right now talking about next year, does it make sense to change the terms of reference when the following year after that, it potentially will be a new committee that they
Right.
just change them again anyways? So
Mhm.
like, is it a big deal to just change it for next year without changing the terms of reference?
No, we can do this. We can approve the schedule as amended.
Okay,
Okay, so then the recommendation is that staff report REC 2021-006 regarding the proposed 2022 Recreation Committee schedule be received for information, and that the 2022 Recreation Committee schedule be approved as amended.
okay.
I'll move.
You'll move, seconder?
I'll second.
Okay, and all in favor?
Aye.
All right. All right, item number 11.8, COVID-19 rental policy. Mike,
So regarding the province's regulations and directives, currently the township is basically, we don't have direction regarding indoor rentals. With the implementation of the vaccine passports coming into effect tomorrow, currently, we don't, like I said, don't have any direction from the province on how to handle this. So for the time being, it has been decided that for the next 3 to 4 weeks, the township facilities will remain closed to indoor rentals until more clear direction from the province can be given, and then the township can implement that at that time. The challenge we face is basically the township's going to be required to have some kind of security personnel that are going to be required to be at the front doors to check vaccine passports. At this time, the township doesn't have the resources through staff availability to allow a dedicated security guard / personnel to check vaccine passports. The last thing the township is going to do, especially on weekends when we have students working at the ORC, is to put any student in jeopardy in having to enforce or tell a potential renter that they cannot enter because they do not have a valid passport. So there's a lot of things in motion with this, but currently at this time, until proper directions given from the province, which, you know, have been pretty quiet since the federal election began. So we're currently waiting for more information so we can better advertise this to our potential indoor renters. But at this time, the safe bet is to continue with the practice of not providing indoor rentals until a game plan can be established for the safety of our guests and our employees.
okay, thank you, Mike. Is there any discussion on this matter? I don't have much to say. I think, you know, Mike is correct. We gotta wait for proper, you know, direction. So, yeah, that's just the way it is. Anyways, anybody want to discuss any more, or should we move?
What do you consider, Mike, indoor facilities? Do you consider the hockey rink indoor?
No. Basically, any type of indoor rental, which would include the PCC, Alf Hales room, and the indoor gymnasium. Currently, the outdoor rink is considered an outdoor facility. That's why we were able to offer some recreational and skating last winter.
Okay, all I can tell you is I know that Guelph Aramosa has a policy in place for renting their Marden facility, and they're following the provincial guidelines.
I do know, Badnock Hall, we're gonna do a soft opening, for Thanksgiving. But just to some Puss Lunch, rentals, so. But we've changed our policies as well, so, but I think we're doing it right by, giving it the 3 to 4 weeks before you make another decision, so. Thank you, Mike. Is there anything else? All right,
Then can we have the resolution that the report COVID-19 rental policy be received for information?
okay, would somebody like to accept the resolution? Make a motion to accept it, Bruce?
Yep.
Seconded,
I will.
all right, and all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right. 11:09, Parks Master Plan update. I know we've been touching on a lot tonight. Anything new to fill us in with, Mike?
Currently, basically, the back soccer field construction is ongoing. We have completed construction. We have not released the contractor yet. There's still some outstanding issues that will be addressed come early October. And basically, the next step will be now consultation with the public and council in regards to finishing the back soccer field construction and implementing phase 1.
Okay. All right, anybody have any questions for Mike on the master plan update?
I do.
Bruce?
Mike, could you define the problems that you're having with the back soccer field?
Basically, we are still in negotiations with the contractor regarding proper soil growing conditions. Long story short, we were unaware of a current supplier that the contractor was using. They tried to source locally. This company product was substandard at best, so we are currently in negotiations with our engineering firm and the contractor to rectify this. Again, I'm fairly confident we will come to a good solution. And again, it was at the time of construction when it began that because the entire property was going to be seeded, that there was going to be some growing, no pun intended, growing pains. And, we fully expect that with the implementation of the lights come next year, come 2023, township will be providing a good product for Puss Lunch Soccer.
Okay, yeah, I was just kind of curious on the seeding. Is there going to be an overseeding? Because right now 90% of the field is weeds. And there's nice grass growing in the forest.
There's
So,
morels back there too.
yeah, so I was just wondering if anybody asked what we can tell them about the back soccer field.
Currently in progress.
Okay,
All right, thank you. I do remember when they did seed it, we had like a big torrential rain, so it did wash a lot of stuff away, so. It's always a challenge sometimes, so. Thank you, Mike, for working with them and getting it rectified. Any more discussion on the topic? No, all right, we'll make a motion to accept his report as read.
I'll move.
June, seconded.
I'll second.
Dinah, everybody all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, item 12, new business. Is there any new business? I could say that the water fountain is now installed and functioning in our Puss Lunch rec center and the gymnasium in the hallway. It looks really good.
Good. Congratulations, Vinny, on getting that money. I don't know if you did it single-handedly or what, but that's good job.
It took some talking, but we got it done, and it'll just be a really nice addition to have, for everybody to use.
So is it a filler like what we were talking about?
Well, it's just a basic water fountain. I think Mike would probably agree. There wasn't a lot of items to order or get. It was hard to get any materials, so I think unfortunately we had to just settle for just a fountain, but it's industrial quality, and if you tip your water bottle, you can fill it up too, so yeah.
Okay.
All right, any more discussion, any more new business? No. All right, we'll move on to announcements. Is there anything in announcements?
Nope.
No announcements? All right, I'll call a motion for adjournment. Would someone like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I do.
I'll second.
Okay, Bruce seconds, and all in favor?
Aye.
Right.
Aye. Before we go, our next meeting is November 16th, 2021, 7 p.m. If there's anything that comes up between now and then, please reach out to the township and we'll get it included, okay?
Okay.
Thank you very much, folks, and
Thank
it's been a
you.
good night.
It has.
Bye-bye,
Stay well,
everybody.
everybody. Take care.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.